Hey Joe fans, I'm JoeFan82 here with another action figure review, and today I'm looking at the new Raphael figure from the new Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line from Playmates. And here he is out of the package, and yeah, he looks a lot like what you would see on the new animated show. They did a great job of approximating that style into action figure form. As you notice, he does not have the mask covering just his eyes. He's got it over his whole head with the long strap coming out the back and resting over here on the front. Mine is a little bent on the side coming out of the box. I think it's supposed to be a little bit further over that way. And instead of a cracked front part like in the previous animated series and figures, he's got a kind of a bandage over here. Maybe that's a little reference to that. And coming down, he's got, these figures are a little more colorful than the previous versions. They all have a little more of their signature color on the figure. So he's got a red belt, red straps across his thighs, and red elbow pads. And as I said, Raphael is the biggest of the group, and he's got a very spiky shell on the back. Overall, these guys are a little bit of a harder plastic than the previous line's figures. And this looks like it's probably maybe a communicator of some kind there on his belt. And yeah, so he's looking pretty good. Over here, I don't know if you can see on his face, he's got a one sharp tooth, one kind of a snaggle tooth that sticks out. That's in the show, but it's almost unnoticeable here on the figure. So let's look at his articulation. And the head has some movement, not a lot. It moves from side to side, not really much up and down. His shoulders do a full 360, up about so far. He's got a 90 degree at the elbow, and his wrist do a full 360. No articulation in the midsection. Now down here is where it gets a little funky. I'm not sure I like this. They went away from that standard ball joint, and it's got this other kind of articulation, so you can't automatically just pull the legs sideways like you used to be able to. So you got to kind of twist them and move them, so eventually they can come apart about that far. And he's got a 90 degree bend at the knee, and they chose for some reason to have the joint covered from the top, instead of it being open or from the bottom. So that was an interesting choice. Not sure why they went that route. And then he's got 360 degree on the ankle, and he can come out like that. And the feet are sculpted back to the way they were sort of with the previous generations of figures with the 3 toes. So that's a look at the figure. Let's take a look at his accessories. One of the differences with this new series are the weapons for the turtles. So instead of sais, which I believe get broken in the first episode of the show, he is using these. These are called tonfas, and they are an Okinawan weapon, and they are basically wood with a wood handle. And that's it. So kind of like a police baton. So he comes with these, 2 of them, and they fit pretty good in his hands. He holds them very well. And his belt has 2 little holsters here for them, and they just snap in. So they stay in pretty well, pretty secure. So another thing that happens in this new show is that they are dealing with a lot of mystical things now, things that are sort of supernatural in origin, and they come across these new weapons which have some sort of mystical energy about them, and when they become charged up, they turn sort of a color, and Raphael comes with these little accessories which look like what happens in the show when their weapons become charged with that energy. So you've got the tonfa here, the regular one, and this is sort of a translucent plastic, a pliable, kind of bendy. And his hand can go in there. And so it's the tonfa and everything is becoming fully charged with this mystical energy, and it looks really cool. I am pretty impressed with how this looks. And he comes with 2 of them. And we'll go ahead and stick the other one on. So there he goes, and that looks really cool. I'm a sucker for the translucent stuff anyway, so this is looking really good to me. So it looks really nice. And he also comes with 2 standard looking throwing stars. So he holds them very well. So here's a look at the back of the package where we have a nice bio for Raph. There's the artwork, just like we see in the cartoon. And it says, as the biggest and oldest brother, which is interesting that he's the oldest one now, Raph is the self-appointed leader of the group. He thinks he can use his fists to get himself out of any situation. But while Raph's muscles are bigger than his brain, his heart is bigger than his muscles. Species, snapping turtle, weapons, tonfas. So in this series, they are all different species of turtles, which is an interesting choice. They're all different colors, different looks to them. And down here we can see the other figures in this first wave of the line, the 4 turtles, April, a new kind of Splinter there, and several bad guys. And here's a little comparison between the new Raphael and the Raphael from the previous series. The new Raph has a noticeably lighter green tint to his skin than the old Raph, but they both have kind of that rough and tough scrapper look. This is the scar I was talking about earlier on the old Raph, and he's got a bandage over here on the new one. But yeah, so the new one is definitely a bigger guy, more broad in the shoulders, a little bit skinnier in the legs, but pretty much the same kind of personality. So that's my look at the new Raphael figure from the new Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles line. Let me know what you think about this figure in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.